am woke now, and I can prove it. Here you go. I love illegal immigrants. And I go, where you headed? And he goes, Gary Lineker's house. I go, it's just down there. There was this woman on there going, oh yeah, well it's not right. Ricky Gervais, he makes jokes about fat people. He wouldn't make jokes about gay people, would he? And being fat is like being gay. What? No, it's not. What? Look for a boat, and I see a dinghy with about 60 of them, and I go, over here, like, right? And I pull them into shore, and I go, women and children first. They go, there are no women and children. Just you lads, is it?
I love illegal immigrants, Ricky Gervais declares with a grin. The more the merrier, come on in, lads. But wait, could the king of cringe comedy be going soft? Not a chance. Gervais is dishing out a hefty serving of satire, and it's keeping the PC police on their toes.
And traditionally, the word queer used to mean someone who was attracted to the same sex as themselves, a gay man. Now, the word queer can mean a straight man who wants some attention. The show Supernature dropped on Netflix last year. Big backlash, wasn't there? Big backlash. People going, you can't say that. You can. But now I'm woke, the first thing I've got to do is change my Twitter bio. Because at the moment, it's like a list of the shows I've created. But now I'm woke, I've got to pop in the word anti-fat.
Get ready for a wild ride through today's comedy scene, where every joke feels like it could lead to a cancel culture storm. Remember when comedians could joke about anything? Now, one wrong move and you're canceled before you even know it, thanks to the Twitter mob. Welcome to the world of woke culture, where every punchline could be a landmine. So what's a comedian to do? Stick to safe jokes? Not if you're Ricky Gervais. While some comedians tiptoe around sensitive topics, Ricky's charging through them in combat boots. Take a look at today's comedy scene. It's full of apologies and backpedaling. Comedians are getting called out for jokes they made years ago. Social media has turned into an outrage machine where one mistake can send you trending for all the wrong reasons. But here's the thing. Comedy is meant to push boundaries. It's supposed to make us uncomfortable sometimes, challenge our beliefs, and make us think. Ricky gets it. He's not here to play it safe. He's here to stir things up and maybe spill a little on your lap along the way.
You'll be pleased to know this is the last time I'm hosting these awards, so I don't care anymore. I'm joking. I never did. Lucky for me, the Hollywood Foreign Press can barely speak English, and they've no idea what Twitter is. So I got offered this gig by fax. NBC clearly don't care either. 5th time. So, I mean, Kevin Hart was fired from the Oscars because of some offensive tweets. Hello?
You might be wondering, but what about being respectful? What about not offending people? Great questions, but Ricky Gervais has something to say about that too. He believes that just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. Boom, mic drop. Gervais isn't suggesting we should hurt people's feelings for the fun of it, but he does think we should be able to joke about anything. The key isn't the subject of the joke, it's the target. Are you making fun of those who are in power, or are you picking on the vulnerable? That's what really matters. So how does Ricky plan to handle this woke minefield? Simple, he's not. He's charging right through it. Consequences be damned. With his upcoming tour, Armageddon, he's tackling every taboo topic you can think of. No holds barred, no apologies. Ricky knows he's got a sledgehammer and isn't afraid to use it. Ricky has made a career out of poking the bear, or in this case, hooking the sacred cows. He's taken on everything from religion to disability, and he's not slowing down. Remember when he joked about Caitlyn Jenner? People lost their minds, but Ricky didn't back down. He said it wasn't transphobic in the slightest. It was a joke about a trans person that had nothing to do with their identity. For Ricky, it's all about context. Now, you might be thinking, isn't that just being offensive for the sake of it? But Ricky has a different perspective. He believes challenging ideas through humor is essential. It's not about hurting people's feelings. It's about making them think. Making them question why certain topics are off limits in the first place. Let's be real, in today's world, it feels like everything's off limits. You can't joke about this, you can't mention that. It's like walking on eggshells. But Ricky, he's tap dancing on those eggshells.
Let's have a laugh at your expense, shall we? Remember, they're just jokes. We're all going to die soon, and there's no sequel. We were going to do an in memoriam this year, but when I saw the list of people that had died, it wasn't diverse enough. No. Many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very racist.
And he's got a point. If we can't joke about something, how can we ever really have an open conversation about it? So what's next on Ricky Gervais's hit list? Well, his upcoming tour, Armageddon *, is shaping up to be his most controversial yet. He's promised material on topics like punching kids, asylum seekers, and even pedophiles. Yep, you read that right. Ricky's going there, taking on the subjects that most people would avoid at all costs. But here's the thing about Ricky. He's not just trying to shock for the sake of it. He's not just out to stir the pot. He's trying to make a point.
No one cares about movies anymore. No one goes to the cinema. No one really watches network TV. Everyone's watching Netflix. This show should just be me coming out going, well done Netflix, you win everything. Good night. Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way. So in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care. You could binge watch the entire first season of Afterlife instead of watching this show. That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife dies of cancer, and it's still more fun than that.
Turns out, Ricky Gervais isn't satisfied with just making people laugh. He wants to make them mad. Really mad. So mad that they'll try to cancel him. And here's the kicker. That's exactly what he wants. Why would a comedian crave cancellation? The answer might surprise you. Ricky has openly declared his intention to get cancelled with his upcoming tour, Armageddon *. He's not just pushing boundaries anymore, he's obliterating them. In his own words, I'm treating it like it's my last one ever. I want to try and get cancelled. It's a bold move, even for someone known for his controversial comedy. But why? Why would a successful comedian actively court cancellation? Ricky has a theory. He believes that the current cancel culture could backfire on those who take pleasure in it. He said, if you're the type of person to revel in someone getting canceled for something they said 10 years ago, you're just ensuring that one day you'll be canceled for something you said today. It's like he's holding up a mirror to society, daring us to take a long, hard look at ourselves. Now, you might be thinking, isn't this career suicide? Maybe, but Ricky isn't your average comedian. He's built his career on being provocative, on saying the things others won't. In a world where outrage gets clicks and controversy equals publicity, Ricky might just be playing the long game. But it's not just about shock value. Ricky has a serious point to make about free speech in comedy. He believes that no topic should be off limits in comedy. There's no subject you shouldn't joke about. It depends on the joke, he says. It's a philosophy that's becoming rare in today's climate of self-censorship and fear of causing offense.
Seriously, most films are awful, lazy, remakes, sequels. I've heard a rumour that there might be a sequel to Sophie's Choice. I mean, that'd just be Meryl Streep going, well, it's got to be this one then. Martin Scorsese, the greatest living director, made the news for his controversial comments about the Marvel franchise. He said they're not real cinema and they remind him of theme parks. I agree. Their job isn't acting anymore. It's going to the gym twice a day and taking steroids, really. Have we got an award for most ripped junkie? No. No point. We know he'd win that.
So, what could be the consequences of Ricky Gervais' approach? On one hand, he could get cancelled, losing gigs, sponsorships, and public support. But on the other hand, he could spark a crucial conversation about the limits of comedy and free speech. He might even attract a larger audience of people craving unfiltered, no-holds-barred comedy. Experts say comedians like Ricky, who dive into controversial topics head-on, face huge risks but also have the potential to build massive followings. It's a high-risk, high-reward strategy, and Ricky is all in. But here's the real kicker. Ricky's take on being offended. He said that just because someone's offended doesn't mean they're right. It's a challenge to the very idea of offense as a moral authority. He's pushing us to think critically about why we're offended, instead of just reacting. So what have we learned from our journey through Ricky's comedy battlefield? That comedy isn't just about laughs, it's about pushing boundaries, challenging ideas, and yes, sometimes offending people. But that's okay. It's how we grow. Ricky isn't just telling jokes, he's fighting for free speech, one punchline at a time. Maybe, just maybe, we should all take a page out of his book. Next time you hear a joke that offends you, ask yourself, is it really offensive? Or am I just not used to hearing it? And as Ricky says, just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. So think critically, laugh freely, and remember, in comedy, as in life, sacred cows make the best burgers.